everybody, it's Becky. Welcome back to my channel. I have another Disney video for you guys today. I love making Disney videos for you all, so if you like Disney videos from me, then make sure you give this video a thumbs up. I have my Disney shirt on that my teenage daughter designed. It says Eat, Sleep, Disney, Repeat, which is pretty much my goal in life. She actually designed this for my Teespring shop. It's linked for you in the description box if you want to pick up this shirt if you're a Disney lover like I am. You can also get like a sweatshirt. There's a couple different designs. There may even be a tank top, I don't remember, and a bunch of different colors to pick from. So she's trying to kind of feel out her own little business with my Teespring shop by making shirts. So if you'd like to pick one of these up and support her, I would really appreciate it. It's linked in the description box. But in today's video, I'm going to be talking about overrated and underrated rides at Disney World. There's also things that I feel like there's just no hype about whatsoever. People don't really talk about it, or I don't feel like the lines really, not that I want there to be a long line, but I don't ever feel like the lines like correlate with how awesome the ride really is. So I have 4 underrated Disney rides and 4 overrated Disney rides. So if you want to kind of hear my opinion and thoughts on that, then stay tuned. So I will start this by saying, if you love these rides and it's your favorite ride or you don't agree with me, it's okay. This is just my opinion of what I really think is overrated or underrated. It's not really to be offensive to you, so if you don't agree with me, that's okay. We all have our own likes and dislikes in life, and we also have our own dislikes and likes at Disney World. So it's just a fun video that I thought would be fun and give you something to think about when maybe you haven't really even given some of these underrated rides a shot. Maybe you will on your next Disney World vacation. I'm gonna start with overrated and then I'll hit the underrated one. So first, overrated Disney World ride, in my opinion, is Peter Pan. It's at Magic Kingdom. The line is always crazy long, like ridiculously long. And when you actually ride it, I personally think it's really boring. So unless you're a huge Peter Pan fan or you want to ride it because it's one of the older Disney World Magic Kingdom rides, that's awesome. You know, ride it if you want to, wait in that crazy long line if you want to, or use one of your fast passes on it if you want to. But for me and for us, we really don't like it. And I think also that the fact that you're in a boat that's supposed to be flying, like in the movie, you can't see what's down below you because the boat is in the way. Like there's a big sail and like the big sides and everything. So I personally just don't get it. Like you can't really see anything very well. And I just think it's boring. Now, just to kind of throw this out there, it's my mom's, like one of my mom's favorite rides. So she doesn't even agree with me about this one. But me and my family of 4, so me and my husband and our 2 girls, they don't really like it that much. We don't usually wait for it unless it's a very, very short line. And we definitely don't use one of our fast passes on it because I just don't feel like it's worth wasting a fast pass for it. And I don't feel like it's worth waiting in line for. Like I would not wait in line for that ride for probably more than 20 or 30 minutes. And that's max. That's like if my mom and dad wanted to ride it and we wanted to do something together, then I probably would. But if it was just the 4 of us and we had things, you know, we were at Magic Kingdom, I would not wait probably even longer than 20 minutes for it. Like I just really think it's overrated. I don't get it. I don't know why people wait in line that long. I don't know why the line is that long because it's not a very good ride in my opinion. The second ride that I think is overrated, and this is also at Magic Kingdom, and this is Under the Sea with the Little Mermaid. I was really excited when I heard that ride was coming out. It's one of the newer rides at Magic Kingdom. But I just feel like the storytelling of that ride is kind of boring, and I feel like there's huge jumps in the sequencing. I realize they can't tell the whole story, you know, the whole movie in that short ride, but I just feel like there's not enough time spent on kind of the progression of the story. I feel like some of the animatronic characters look a little weird, and I just think it's a boring ride overall. It is a good one if you are there and you want to get somewhere cool because most of the line is inside. So that's nice, and it is obviously over there in Fantasyland, so if you're waiting for your Be Our Guest reservation, you've got a little while to kill. You know, it's not that I wouldn't do it, and we do it sometimes if there's no wait, but I definitely am not really gonna wait in line for that, and I would not use a fast pass on that. Okay, my third overrated ride, and it actually is at Magic Kingdom again. 3 of my 4 overrated choices are at Magic Kingdom. I feel like that the Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger spin really needs an update. Now, we haven't ridden it in a couple years just because the last couple times that we rode it, we just found that the gun didn't work on our little ride like thing that we're in, or they're really dirty, and it didn't, like the laser wasn't lining up with the sights. It's like a shooting game. So you go through on your little car and your spaceship or whatever it's supposed to be. And you've got all these targets that you're supposed to hit with your little laser gun. Half the time our lasers don't work, or they don't seem to be like aiming right, and like you're literally aiming right at this thing and you shoot and it doesn't go off right, it goes off in a different direction. So we just decided a couple years ago, like nobody was interested in riding it anymore. The line still strangely can get really long. And I guess it's because it is a ride that most children can ride and it's a good family ride. But as far as like the fun of it and the accuracy of it, I don't think it's very accurate at all. I think Toy Story Mania is way better at you being able to aim and actually hit the target. So we don't ride it anymore, and I don't really understand why they haven't updated it. Given the fact that it is such a popular ride, I think it could very easily just be spruced up a little bit, maybe re-sight some of the laser guns, and then it would be perfect. But I just think it's really not worth it, and we don't waste our time riding that one anymore. And the last ride that I think is overrated is actually at Epcot, and it is Test Track. I personally think Test Track is extremely boring. I know that the queue is really interactive. You can go in, you can kind of build your own car. I think that's boring too, but even besides that, I just think the ride itself is really boring. The only part that's even halfway fun is like the last 30 seconds when you're outside kind of speeding around that loop. But I don't think that the fun of those 30 seconds is worth the extremely long wait times that Test Track can have. And again, it's not one that I'm going to use a fast pass for, because there's so many other things at Epcot that we want to use a fast pass for, like Frozen, like Soarin'. Like, I'm not going to go and use one of our fast passes on Test Track. And we are not interested in waiting in that crazy long line that it tends to get. So we just typically skip it every year because it's not worth waiting for, and it's not worth a fast pass in our opinion. Okay, that being said, there are quite a few rides that I think are underrated. I don't feel like people talk about them. I never hear anybody really talking about them. The lines a lot of time are fairly short, which is perfect because I don't want people to go wait and make the line really crazy long. But I just feel like that the lack of talking about it and the lack of line that there usually is makes me think that these things are underrated, and they're such good rides that I really do recommend. And sticking at Epcot, the first one is the Grand Fiesta Tour starring the Three Caballeros. It's actually in World Showcase at Epcot. It's in the Mexico Pavilion. It's in the big main building. And there's a restaurant in there, and it's just a really fun, relaxing, cool ride where you're supposed to be in a boat following Donald Duck as he goes through Mexico. And so you're seeing him doing cliff diving, and you're seeing him going to a fiesta, like all of this different stuff that is Mexican culture, part of the fun of going to Mexico. Like, you're seeing him experience all of these things, kind of following him along. And it's just a really beautiful, relaxing boat ride, and there's never a wait for that. It's usually like 10 minutes. And I just think it's an amazing ride. It's a great way to cool off if you are back in World Showcase and it's really hot, as it sometimes tends to be. It's a really great one. And it's also nice because if you are going to World Showcase and you go left instead of right to walk through the countries, Mexico is actually the first stop on your left. So if you're interested in riding it, instead of going right, like I feel a lot of people do, and you're gonna hit Canada first, go left, you'll hit Mexico first. You can ride that ride and then walk the rest of the way through the countries. But I just think it's really fun, and I don't really understand why there's never anybody on it, because it is such a great ride. Another ride at Epcot that I actually think is underrated is the Living with the Land ride. It's actually in the same pavilion. It's in the Land Pavilion in Epcot. It's back there with Soarin'. So you've got, I guess that's part of the reason why a lot of people go to Soarin'. They'll be so focused on that they don't realize or pay attention to the fact that Living with the Land is also in that same building, and it is a really, really neat boat ride all about food, which sounds kind of strange. And when I was a kid, my dad always wanted to go on it, and I was like, this is so boring. But they did change it over the years. It's more modern, and it's not boring. You actually get to see how they're using hydroponics and aquaculture to create amazing gardens and grow food with little to no ground space, with using aquaculture, so using the waste of the fish to fertilize the food, the plants, and it's just amazing. You get to see a lot of plants in their like natural state that you don't normally get to see, like the cacao tree, which is actually where we get chocolate. It's just a really interesting boat ride and educational, and a lot of the food that they make at that ride, they actually use in some of the restaurants on Disney property. I just think it's really interesting and educational and amazing. And the lines typically aren't too bad. You can definitely get a fast pass for it if you want to, but usually the line is not long enough where you would probably want to do that. But it is a ride that I think is often overlooked and underappreciated, and it's a great ride that I really, really recommend. Okay, going back to Magic Kingdom, something I feel like people don't appreciate for the fact that it is like a Magic Kingdom classic is the Enchanted Tiki Room. And it is not one of the rides, or it's not even a ride, it's a show. It's not the kind of thing that you're gonna be like, yes, I can't wait to get to the Tiki Room. I mean, maybe it is, but I think it's definitely one of those things that your trip is not complete until you've seen it, at least in my opinion. It is a classic Magic Kingdom show. They've changed it a couple times throughout the year, but if nothing else, it's a really good place to go in and get cool because you're inside, you've got these cute little birds above you that are talking and moving and singing. And it's just a great show. And I think a lot of the little kids love it because of the music and the birds, and I think the adults love it because it's a traditional Magic Kingdom experience that is really fun and often overlooked. So definitely make sure that if you haven't done it yet, or if you haven't done it in a while, they actually did change it about 5 to 8 years ago, I believe. So it's definitely worth seeing, and I definitely, for us, feel like it's a must-do every time we go to Magic Kingdom. Okay, and the last underrated thing that I want to share with you guys, and I really encourage you to go to, is at Hollywood Studios, and it's the Frozen Sing-Along Show. Again, with a show. And if you would have told me that a sing-along would be my favorite show on Disney property. So of all the 4 parks, it is my favorite show, more than Lion King, more than Nemo, more than Beauty and the Beast. I mean, it's my favorite show. And I don't like singing. I don't sing in public, so I don't go for the music. I go because it is such a funny show. They have 2 characters that kind of tell the story of Frozen, in case you didn't know the story already. They kind of walk you through the story and kind of lead you in the songs, but they are hilarious, like improv actors. They have a script, but they also go off all the time and have different jokes and things that they kind of ad-lib, and it is hilarious. And I would like to go at least twice per vacation because there's different actors usually on, that are working that day. And it's funny to see the story being told by the different actors because they all add something different. They'll all say something kind of totally off the cuff, or they'll get the giggles, or make one of the other people in the show get the giggles, like one of the other cast members. It's just really, really funny. So I don't go for the music or the songs. I go for those 2 characters. It's Eric and Aria that are the storytellers, and they're amazing. So even if you don't have kids, even if you haven't seen Frozen, or even if you have seen Frozen and you think you're gonna throw up if you hear one of those songs one more time, still I encourage you to go see the Frozen Sing-Along Show at Hollywood Studios because it's hilarious. It's a great way to cool off, and I think you will love it if you go to see that. So that I feel like is underrated, not because it's not popular, it is popular, but I think you may not have it on your radar if you don't think you want to go to a sing-along, or you don't think you want to go to something about Frozen or a kid's movie. Still, I encourage, it's a great show. So those are my underrated and overrated rides and attractions at Disney World. You guys let me know nicely, please, how you feel. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? And what is your top picks for overrated and underrated at Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom? If you'd like to share that with me, I would love to read your guys' comments in the comments section. So definitely head down there and let me know your thoughts and opinions on that. Also, don't forget to check out my Disney playlist. It's linked for you in the description box. Every Disney video I've ever made is in that playlist. There's tons of them. I think you'll get lots of information and tips and tricks from that playlist, so definitely check it out. Don't forget to subscribe. If you're not already, tap that bell, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.